Hello and welcome back to Old Charles, the channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of coins and currency. Today, we're traveling back in time to the year 1976 to talk about a very interesting piece from Canada, the 5-cent coin, also known as the Canadian nickel. Whether you're a collector, a coin enthusiast, or someone who just found one in your drawer, this video is for you. First, let's talk about the design. The obverse of the 1976 Canadian 5-cent coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This is the same portrait that was used from 1965 to 1989 on Canadian coins. The Queen is shown facing right, wearing a tiara, and the words around the edge read, Elizabeth II Dei Regina, which means Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. Now flip the coin and on the reverse, you'll see a classic image, the beaver sitting on a rock, a national symbol of Canada. This design was created by G. E. Kruger Gray and has been used on Canadian nickels since 1937. Above the beaver is the inscription 5 cents, and below it, Canada, and the year, 1976. Here are the technical details for our coin collectors out there. Composition ** 100% nickel weight ** 4.54 grams diameter ** 21.2 millimeters edge ** smooth minted by ** Royal Canadian Mint in 1976. Approximately 84.2 million of these coins were minted, making them fairly common, but that doesn't mean some aren't worth collecting. If you found a 1976 Canada 5-cent coin in your pocket or change jar, and it's in average circulated condition, its value is mostly face value, just 5 cents Canadian. In the collector's market, most circulated examples sell for 5 to 25 cents, depending on wear and overall condition. But here's where it gets interesting. If you have a mint state or uncirculated coin, one that looks shiny, clean, and almost brand new, its value could be much higher. In MS-60 to MS-63, you could expect to get $1 to $2 CAD. In MS-64 or MS-65, collectors may pay $5 to $10 CAD. And in MS-66 or higher, the price could go up to $20 CAD or more, especially if it's been graded by a reputable company like PCGS or NGC. In fact, some examples have been sold at auction for even more, particularly if they are exceptionally well struck or have a rare die error. Speaking of errors, yes, there are some error coins from 1976 that can be quite valuable. Look out for double die errors ***, where the design appears slightly duplicated, off-center strikes ***, when the coin image isn't perfectly aligned. Die cracks or cuds ***, raised bumps or lines from broken minting dies. These can sell for anywhere from $20 to over $100, depending on the type and visibility of the error. Here's a fun fact. The beaver has been featured on the Canadian 5-cent coin for over 85 years, and the 1976 version is a proud continuation of that tradition. Beavers played a major role in Canada's early fur trade history, making them a fitting symbol on this coin. Also, did you know that Canada stopped using pure nickel in its coins in the 1980s? That makes older coins like the 1976 nickel more interesting to metal collectors too. So to wrap things up, if you've got a 1976 Canadian 5-cent coin, it might be worth just 5 cents, or a lot more if it's in excellent condition or has an error. It's a wonderful piece of Canadian history either way, and it's always worth taking a closer look. Now let's dig a little deeper into the history behind the 1976 Canadian 5-cent coin. Canada's 5-cent coin has a long and evolving history that dates all the way back to 1858, when the first small silver 5-cent pieces were struck for the province of Canada. But those early coins were very different from what we see today. The design we now associate with the Canadian nickel, the beaver on a rock, was first introduced in 1937 as part of a major redesign of Canadian coins. The beaver was chosen because it's a symbol of Canada's hard-working nature and its early fur trade economy, which was central to the country's development. By the time we reach 1976, the coin had already undergone major changes. One of the most important shifts happened in 1922, when the Royal Canadian Mint moved away from silver and began minting 5-cent coins in pure nickel, a metal Canada was rich in. That made Canada the first country in the world to issue pure nickel coins on a large scale. From 1965 to 1989, the obverse of the 5-cent coin featured the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This is the same effigy you'll see on the 1976 coin, with the Queen wearing a tiara. The year 1976 itself was a significant time for Canada. It was the centennial of the Library of Parliament, And although there wasn't a special edition 5-cent coin that year, the regular coinage still reflected the country's pride and stability. That year also marked Canada's growing modern identity, as it hosted the Montreal Summer Olympics, the first Olympics ever held in Canada. The Royal Canadian Mint struck over 84 million 5-cent coins in 1976, making it one of the most commonly circulated coins of that time. These were made from pure nickel, which would eventually be phased out in later decades due to cost and practicality. Today, the 1976 5-cent coin stands as a small but important piece of Canadian numismatic history, representing a period when the country was modernizing while holding on to traditional symbols like the beaver and the monarchy. Now let's talk about one of the most important things when it comes to coin collecting: condition. Whether your 1976 Canada 5-cent coin is worth just face value or several dollars depends largely on what kind of shape it's in. If your 1976 5-cent coin has been used in everyday transactions, chances are it's in circulated condition. That means it shows signs of wear, like faded details, small scratches, or loss of shine. These coins usually fall between a step up from circulated is about uncirculated, or AU. These coins look almost new, with just a hint of wear on the highest points of the design. U coins can be worth 50 cents to $1 CAD, especially if they still have strong eye appeal and minimal marks. This is where the serious collectors start paying attention. Uncirculated coins, also known as mint state (MS), have never been used in circulation. They look just as they did when they left the mint, shiny, crisp, and without wear. Mint state grades go from MS 60 to MS 70, with MS 70 being a perfect, flawless coin, 60 to MS 63 ***, around $1 to $3 CAD, 64 to MS 65 ***, can fetch $5 to $10 CAD, could be worth $20 or more, especially if graded by PCGS or NGC. To check your coin's condition, use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for signs of wear on the beaver's fur, queen's hair, and lettering. Examine the luster. Does it still shine? Watch for dents, spots, or scratches. These can lower the grade. If you think your coin is in excellent condition, it might be worth getting it professionally graded. So remember, the better the condition, the higher the value. Even a common 1976 Canadian 5-cent coin can become a collectible treasure if it's well preserved. If you love learning about coins with real stories behind them, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Today, we're diving into the small but mighty Canada 1-cent coin from the year 1983, a coin that may be worth more than you think. The 1983 Canadian 1-cent coin is part of a long-running series that featured the iconic image of a maple leaf, a symbol closely associated with Canada. But did you know that this particular year, 1983, was a turning point in how the coin was produced? On the obverse side, or front, we see the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This version of the Queen was used from 1965 until 1989. On the reverse side, we see the classic 2 maple leaves on a twig, designed by George Kruger Gray. This iconic design had appeared on Canadian pennies since 1937. Now let's talk about what the coin is made of. The 1983 1-cent coin was struck in bronze, which is a mix of 98% copper, 0.5% tin, and 1.5% zinc. It weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 mm. In terms of mintage, which refers to how many coins were made, the Royal Canadian Mint produced 754, 309, 000 of these coins in 1983. That's over 750 million pennies. Some 1983 Canadian 1-cent coins have been found with striking errors, like off-center strikes, die cracks, or even coins struck on the wrong metal planchet. These kinds of errors can drastically increase the coin's value to collectors. And here's a lesser-known fact. In the early 1980s, there was a transition between different metal compositions. Some error coins might have been mistakenly struck on old blanks or have differences in thickness. In circulated condition, the kind most people have in old jars or drawers, the coin is usually worth face value or slightly more, maybe 1 to 5 cents CAD. In uncirculated condition, especially coins graded MS 65 or higher, they can be worth between $1 and $5 CAD if the coin has a known mint error. It can fetch anywhere from $10 to over $100 CAD, depending on the type and rarity of the error. Online auctions sometimes show 1983 pennies with dramatic die breaks. or off-center strikes selling for $25, $50, or even more. If you're hunting for valuable 1983 Canadian pennies, here are a few collector tips. Always inspect both sides under good lighting. Look for die cracks, double dates, or coins that feel thicker or lighter than normal. Use a coin scale and caliper to verify weight and size. Store high-grade coins in a plastic flip or airtight holder to prevent tarnishing. And if you find something unusual, consider getting it graded by a professional like ICCS or PCGS. It can significantly increase your coin's market value. So while the 1983 Canada 1-cent coin might seem common at first glance, there's a lot more value hidden in the details, especially for collectors and error hunters. If you've got one of these coins, take a closer look. Who knows, you might be holding a little piece of Canadian history worth far more than a penny. The Canadian 1-cent coin, also commonly known as the penny, has a long and rich history. Introduced in 1858 under British colonial rule, the penny evolved over time alongside Canada's economic and political development. By 1983, the penny had already become a household coin, used in everyday transactions across Canada. The 1983 edition continues the traditional design that began in 1937, featuring the two maple leaves on a single twig, designed by George Kruger Gray, symbolizing Canada's national identity and natural heritage. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, by Arnold Machin, showing the young queen wearing a tiara. This design had been used since 1965 and continued until 1989. During the early 1980s, Canada was facing rising copper prices, which impacted the cost of producing coins. While the 1983 penny was still made of 95.5% copper, this would soon change. The Royal Canadian Mint struck over 754 million of these coins in 1983. The next major transition came in 1982-1983, when discussions began about switching to cheaper metals like zinc or steel. However, the 1983 penny was still fully bronze, making it one of the last years of the classic copper-rich cents. There is some collector interest around 1983 Canadian 1-cent coins because of rumors of test strikes and error coins. While no major confirmed varieties are officially documented for 1983, some collectors report off-metal strikes, possibly test planchets, die breaks or cracks off-center strikes. These anomalies increase the intrigue around this otherwise common coin. Fast forward a few decades, the penny was officially withdrawn from circulation in 2013 due to the cost of production outweighing its value. However, coins like the 1983 penny remain important to collectors, not just for their copper content, but for their role in Canadian monetary history. Did you know? If you hold a 1983 penny, you're holding a coin that is more than 40 years old and contains more copper than its face value. In terms of metal, it's actually worth more than 1 cent. Now let's talk about one of the most important things that determines the value of any coin: condition. Whether you're a beginner collector or just curious about the coins in your pocket, understanding coin condition is key. Coins with minting errors like off-center strikes, die cracks, or double dates. Extremely rare and valuable if certified by experts. If you think you have a high-grade or error coin, protect it immediately. Use a plastic holder and avoid touching it with bare hands. And if you're serious, get it professionally graded. Today, we're taking a closer look at the Canada 1-cent coin from 2004. Is it just a regular penny? Or could it be worth more than face value? Let's find out. The Canadian 1-cent coin has a long history, but the 2004 issue is one of the last few years before Canada decided to stop producing the penny entirely. The Royal Canadian Mint minted this coin with pride. It features the iconic maple leaf twig on the reverse, a symbol of Canadian identity and heritage. On the obverse, we have the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by artist Susanna Blunt. This design was first introduced in 2003 and is still used in Canadian coinage today. Notice how the Queen is not wearing a crown, a unique and modern take on the royal image. Here are some key details about the 2004 1-cent coin. Composition ***, 94% steel, 1.5% nickel, 4.5% copper. Plating weight ***, 2.35 grams diameter ***, 19.05 mm edge ***. Plain minted by ***, Royal Canadian Mint, in 2004. Over 816 million of these pennies were minted. That means it's not considered rare, yet. But certain coins from this year can still have added value, depending on condition, mint errors, or special qualities. So, what's the value of a circulated 2004 Canadian penny? If your coin was used in daily transactions and has visible wear, then it's generally worth face value, 1 cent. However, some collectors might pay 5 to 10 cents for one in decent condition, just to complete a set. Now here's where it gets interesting. If you have a mint state 2004 penny, especially graded MS 65 or higher, it could sell for $1 to $5 CAD or even more depending on appeal and demand. But even more valuable are error coins. Keep your eyes open for off-center strikes ***, die cracks ***, double die errors ***, missing plating ***, which gives a steel-colored appearance instead of copper. Some error coins have sold for $20 to $50 CAD or more at auctions and coin shows. If you spot something strange about your penny, don't spend it. If you're collecting Canadian pennies, here are a few tips. Use a magnifying glass *** to check for small errors. Store your best coins *** in plastic holders to avoid scratches. Get coins graded *** if you think they're in top condition, especially if you spot a rare error. Join online forums or Facebook groups ** for Canadian coin collectors. Great places to learn and trade. Also, keep in mind, pennies are no longer being made in Canada since 2012, so these older coins are becoming more collectible each year. To wrap it up, the 2004 Canadian penny is usually only worth a cent, but under the right conditions, it can be worth much more. So check your change and start hunting. Let's start with a bit of history behind the Canadian 1-cent coin, especially the one minted in 2004. The Canadian 1-cent coin, commonly known as the penny, has been around since 1858. But in 2004, Canada was already starting to question the usefulness of the penny due to rising production costs and its decreasing value in everyday transactions. In that year, 2004, Canada produced over 816 million 1-cent coins. These were made primarily for circulation, but a smaller number were also included in collector coin sets. The reverse design, showing 2 maple leaves on a twig, is one of the most iconic symbols of Canada. It was first introduced in 1937, created by G. Kruger Gray, and it remained on the coin until production ended in 2012. Meanwhile, the obverse, front, of the coin features Queen Elizabeth II, based on a portrait by Canadian artist Susanna Blunt. This version of the Queen's image, introduced in 2003, is unique because she is not wearing a crown, a more modern and informal portrayal. This design marked a new era in Canadian coinage. And 2004 was just the second year that this portrait appeared on the penny. That makes it historically interesting to collectors who want every design variant in their collection. So even though it looks like just another penny, the 2004 version sits at a key turning point, between tradition and change, between mass production and the beginning of the end for the Canadian 1-cent coin. Now let's talk about condition, because when it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. Most 2004 Canadian 1-cent coins that you'll find in circulation are in used or worn condition, meaning they've passed through many hands. These are considered circulated coins, and typically, they're only worth 1 cent, maybe 5 to 10 cents to a beginner collector who needs one for their album. But if your coin looks shiny, detailed, and crisp, it might be an uncirculated coin. That's where things get interesting. In coin collecting, we use a grading scale from poor, P1, to mint state, MS 70. The higher the grade, the more the coin is worth. Rarer and collectible, potentially $10 plus CAD if slabbed and certified by companies like PCGS or NGC. To preserve your best coins, always store them in plastic flips or capsules. Avoid touching the surface with your bare fingers. Natural oils can damage the finish. If your 2004 penny looks flawless, no scratches, deep red luster, and perfect detail, it might be worth grading. And if it has any errors, its value could go even higher. We'll talk more about errors later in this video.